Welcome in, everybody. We are at week four of the NFL. It's about time we start seeing for you on who's going to be a one-hit wonder and who might actually be able to do it again. Raider fan and my partner in crime with the Fantasy Football Advice Network. That is Biggs, Big Boned FFB. Where can we find you, Biggs? Oh, and he's gone. So, all right. On that note, I'm sure he'll be back in just a second. We had a little glitch, technical difficulties. I want to introduce my special guest, our special guest today. We have Nicolette Rojo. Nicolette, why don't you go ahead and take a few minutes to just tell us where we can find you, where we can find your advice, your fantasy football, whatever you're doing. Just throw it in there.
Yeah, so first off, thank you, Amber and Biggs, who just disappeared and will pop up shortly for the invites. You can find all advice and nonsense and whatnot at my username and at my bottom top left. Sorry, I don't know my angles, but
right.
at nrojo5 on X/Twitter. That is also my Instagram, and I do a lot more of my fantasy content with IBT Media, our friends over there, and a little more kind of overall football, dive into CFB stuff with Blitz Sports Media, and check out our social channels on Fox Sports if we want more generic betting and NFL and Major League Baseball nonsense.
All right. I love that because we are big. I think we're basically family over there with IBT. So I was able to work event at the expo with them, and that was a wonderful time. But I really appreciate you being on. We're just trying to. So we're an all-women's fantasy football league. If you're not familiar, if you're new here, Queens Ransom League. We're in our third year, second season of the show. And we're just trying to get some motivation going here to get people to, donate to certain causes. Are there any special causes that you like to help out with charity wise and raising money for throughout the year for football or any sports really for that matter?
Yeah, definitely one that's close to me is the Arthritis Foundation. It was one of my philanthropic causes that I've done when I was in Greek life, and I'm still close with to this day. And a lot of it is primarily for juvenile arthritis because that's something. Obviously, arthritis is bad regardless of age, but that's an area that's not really talked upon, and just giving everyone a support and whatnot. That's definitely a big cause of mine.
I didn't realize that juvenile arthritis was a thing, and I think I had it as a kid. So now I'm definitely going to look into it. So I appreciate that. We have Biggs is back.
I think I'm having serious problems. What'd I miss?
Nothing. We were introducing. So we went to introduce you, and then you glitched out. So we went right into Nicolette and all of her where we can find her on IBT. With IBT Media and Fox Sports and Blitz. You said Blitz Media, yes. Right?
Blitz, yeah. Yep, Blitz Sports, yeah.
Blitz Sports Media, yeah. So you're doing a lot of things. Biggs, why don't you let the viewers know where we can find you at as well?
I said it before. Fantasy Football Advice Network. Find me on the Undroppables. That's my Raiders show on the Uncovered series. We have dedicated content creators for each NFL team. We're also looking out for the Browns. Too many. We need some more people. Fantasy Football Plus is where you find my Dynasty show, and then Player Profiler and Player Profiler News. I have news shows, Dynasty shows, etc. But Fantasy Football Advice Network at Big Boned FFB on Twitter.
Yeah, you're a busy body. I got to get up to your level, that's for sure. But yeah,
you don't.
Yeah, who knows if there's enough time for all that, right?
I have nothing else.
Hey, look, this is a lifestyle of its own, guys. All right. So we're here. We provide you all the info you need. If you have any start-sit questions, any information or any advice that you need. We do have a couple people in the chat real quick. Albert, one of our day ones, is here to say hello. And then, of course, Rachel from Unwind, she's here to say hello as well. There's an Unwind meeting tonight. These women are wonderful. The reason why that I have these wonderful guests on is because of Unwind. So thank you so much. And you can find all of that on Twitter. All right, let's get right into it today, you guys. All right, so we had a big week last week. I feel like the NFL was drunk.
Yeah.
And so it kind of goes to show. I'm going to real quick just really briefly share the screen and let you guys see where Queen's Ransom stands because I think our ladies deserve a little recognition. So Let me know. Can you guys see that?
Nope.
Not yet.
Nope, it's not working. Okay, cool. That sounds wonderful. Here we go. All right, perfect. All right. Touchdowns and tight ends, Ashley Nicole in first place at 2-1. Now, mind you, you see that we have 7 teams at 2-1. So it could really go in any direction. Britt Flynn, the infamous, in the second spot. We're not going to look and see where I'm at. I'm in the 6th spot, and then Mobile and I are, and we're right there back to back with Stepmom Lauren.
Can I brag about something real quick?
Yeah, please.
I was in Britt Flynn's FC Eliminator, and I outlasted her. I just got eliminated too, but she got eliminated before me.
There you go.
Woo pig suey. Let's go, Britt. Go Hogs.
Right on. And then our wonderful football chick chat. She is really just a fun energy. You can find her on TikTok and Instagram as well. One of our football sexy ambassadors. So this is where we stand right now, you guys. We'll come back and let you know where we end up next week. We had some heavy hitters on the waivers this week. So, I picked up Juwan Jennings last week and he was on my bench. So there's my life.
That's how it goes.
All right. Enough of that. So we're going to jump right into it. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe, please go ahead and do that. And again, if you have any questions, start sits, waivers, whatever you need to do, trade questions, please let us know. All right. Injuries and post waivers hype. Let's see. We've got Sam Laporta with an ankle. That's day to day, correct, guys?
Looks like it.
All right. Devonta Smith concussion.
Yes, it looks like it. Yep.
Oh, okay. Trey McBride, Austin Eckler, and Devonta Smith all with concussions.
And Eckler's out.
Out. Done.
The others are questionable still.
The others are questionable. I mean, Nicolette, in your experience, concussions really, it's usually a week. It's usually at least a week out, right?
Yeah, it's about a week out. It's like 5-6 step. I believe it's 5-step process that it takes for them to get cleared. So given that it's Wednesday, I do know I did see someone. I think it was Palisaro, someone that Eckler has already been ruled out, but should typically, especially if you're looking at a McBride, for example, that he didn't practice, of course. But Thursdays are the ones in general to look for, but especially for concussions. If they're like limited, it's usually typically a good sign. If they just did not practice, that doesn't mean your security's out, but that usually determines, especially with concussions. So they have to go through that extra protocol before Thursday, and then go into Friday, and then finalize before.
Heard
Saturday,
that. We got to protect the brains, right? It's super important.
Yeah.
All right, Biggs, why don't you give me your thoughts on the Justin Herbert situation? I think we both agreed last week that he should not be playing, but he went in anyway and then reactivated or re-aggravated, that high ankle sprain.
Yeah. The Chargers are in an interesting situation because I believe they are 3-0, unfortunately. And when they can eat one, especially going up against the Chiefs. Do you really want Chris Jones falling on that ankle? And so if he's practicing limited, which apparently he is, he's likely going to get into the game. He's just kind of testing it out to see what happens. I feel like if he misses a practice, he's gonna sit out on Sunday. And they can absorb one. They're a run heavy team anyway. It's not like his 126 yards on Sunday really lit the game on fire. So I think they can do okay with Easton Stick. I'd pack it. I'd wrap him in bubble wrap and sit on him.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, I feel like with Quentin Johnson, that's we're gonna have to probably sit him. And I mean, I think Dobbins is a play, but Edwards I think is a sit as well. What are your opinions on that?
I haven't heard anything about Quentin Johnston, but with his touchdown upside, I hate counting on touchdowns, but it looks like he's been a red zone target. I think the sneaky play, especially if Easton Stick plays, is Ladd McConkey. He's the exact type of guy that Easton Stick doesn't need to get the ball down the field to get the ball to him, and he can yak himself into a touchdown situation. So if you're sitting on Ladd McConkey and you haven't been playing him, this might be the week to do it while everybody else on the outside is shut down.
Love the yak. Gotta love the yak. All right. And I know that's a division rival for you guys as well. And then two of your division rivals playing each other. I know we don't want to see either one of them win, but we don't really have a choice.
One of them gets to lose.
Yes. And it's a home game for Chiefs fans, even in LA anyway. So go figure.
It really is. I just moved from LA, and there's several games I went to, Chargers games that I went to, and we definitely, when I say we, my boyfriend, we took over the stadium. So, moving on, Sam Darnold, I don't think it's a knee bruise. They say he's fine. So he should be active as well. I love watching this Vikings offense. As a Bears fan, that's weird to say, but it's been really fun. I'm not going to lie.
I love watching their defense.
Yeah, ultimately. I mean, we're definitely going to get into that because we need to see what another division rivalry is going to look like coming up. They think it's bigger than Bears. Vikings and Packers think that their rivalry, or the Vikings think their rivalry is bigger than the Bears, but I don't know about that with the Packers. So, okay, waiver wires. So we're gonna go into this post waiver hype because obviously most waivers ran last night if they're not running every day, of course, and we've got some big names on the board. Andy Dalton, I'm sure, was in several redraft leagues, was not even rostered.
Correct.
All right. Did either one of you decide that you wanted Andy Dalton on any of your teams? Was it necessary? Was it something that you needed to do?
My 32 team league dynasty, I had Tua as my quarterback, and so I traded my 25 first for Skylar Thompson and Andy Dalton, and then proceeded to start Skylar Thompson over Andy Dalton. I won anyway. so my team is not quarterback based. It's IDP, so it's all linebacker based and return dependent. So I still wax people anyway. But I just needed that little safety net. I needed that little reassurance. So I'm absolutely starting Darnold this week.
Okay, Nicolette. When it comes to the Panthers, I mean, I think we all liked what we saw. I'm sure that we all have a little bit of the Panthers somewhere within our rosters, between Chuba Hubbard somewhere, drafting him in what was at the 8th, 9th round. And then, Deontay Johnson, we all had high hopes for him, hoping that Bryce Young got better. Obviously now then I think that we can stream them no problem. Can Andy Dalton repeat what happened last week with this week's matchup?
Personally, I don't think he could repeat exactly what he did last week. I don't think he's going to tank, but he put up basically an MVP performance, and a lot of it was riding off a high, going in the locker room, coming from Bryce Young. I don't know reports of, if in terms of Bryce Young lost the locker room, that's a different story. But when you're struggling with Bryce Young, and then Dave Canellis last minute says, okay, no, we're going to start the veteran instead. Even on a road game in Vegas, and that clearly threw reports. If you look at it, especially these beat writers, I threw off Antonio Pierce. Raiders kind of just cruised on it. So this was as Raider fans, especially Biggs would know, this was the official trap game. And the Raiders were very high off the big win in the Raven, B-More beating Lamar Jackson. This was pretty much prone to happen. Now they're going. They're going back home.
Cincinnati too. So
they're going to Cincinnati.
I do have a couple of Panthers notes really. One of the knocks against Bryce Young was that he's very short, and so people speculated for a long time that he couldn't see over the offensive line. So his windows became like between offensive linemen, and he couldn't really see down the field very well. I don't know the validity of that, but that's just something that was talked about. And then Andy Dalton comes in, and he's very tall, and he didn't seem to miss anything. There also was a Hall of Fame level Super Bowl winning quarterback who was on a show, and he had a quote that I pulled for trying to convince people that Aiden O'Connell is the answer over Gardner Minshew. But anyway, it's, quote, winning football is played on time from the pocket, then 3 to 5 times a game, make plays off schedule that have broken down. And Andy Dalton, if anything, he can make plays from the pocket. The other thing is there was a chart that was posted on Twitter today that I pulled, and it regards offensive line play, and the offensive line in Carolina has been much maligned, but they are actually leading in a clean pocket in terms of percentage of dropbacks, leading the NFL. clean pockets per dropback. And then they're also not too shabby. They're right around league median in the number of dropbacks that end in a sack. So they're right around 8%. The worst is 14 and the best is 2%.
You lost your sound, I think. Did we lose some sound or am I not hearing?
I could hear him.
Oh,
we lost your sound, I think.
sorry.
Oh,
That was me.
is
I
it
apologize.
back? Am I back? Oh, okay. Yeah, so they were right around league median in sacks allowed per dropback, but they were the best in the league at clean pockets per snap. So I don't think that Carolina's offensive line is as bad as we think. I think Deontay Johnson is one of the separation gods in the NFL. It looks like from here on out, Carolina is not going to be that bad, and Andy Dalton and Deontay Johnson are going to be pretty much smash plays every week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to throwing Chuba in my flex. I think that there's plenty of opportunities for him, and it's maybe even Jatavian Sanders down the road. Like I'm looking for, I'm looking for that tight end magic finally, and you thought that you would get with somebody like Bryce, but we just weren't getting anything at all. So I am looking forward to that game. Who would have thought that?
And also Cincinnati's been struggling on defense too, and
right. So I think that there's, I think that we might have a little bit of a negative game script maybe on Cincinnati side. I know that Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase, but I mean, I love a little underdog story. So
I feel like it's more shootout worthy instead of negative game script. And then on the other hand, the Cincinnati Bengals give up a lot of points to wide receivers on the outside, not so much in the slot. So Deontay Johnson lining up on the outside, he's an X receiver. That it could be a big game for both Dalton and Deontay.
Could you see Deontay in like top 10, top 15 this week?
Yeah, I haven't done my rankings yet, but I'm certainly pushing him way, way up. After the first 2 weeks, I sat him last week. Dumb. But all we have to go on is previous data, and it didn't look like things were going to work out for him. But at this point, he's a start in every lineup that I have him in, and yeah, he's absolutely moving up at least into the top 24.
Yeah, for sure. And Johnny Main, one of my good buddies from the Expo, he is still in on Deontay. I think we all are, bud. I think we all are.
100%.
We wanted to be directly from the start. So what I'm moving into, we're having several tight end issues this year. And I also just truly believe it takes a while for the tight ends to get going. I feel like it happened last year as well. It's not necessarily always the history, but I mean, we thought we were going to have a phenomenal tight end season, but we've got, Tyler Conklin and Zach Ertz, right? This post waiver hype situation. Tyler Conklin, I mean, I think that he's a risky play. Just because we saw the first 2 weeks really wasn't much action. We see Aaron Rodgers floating the ball to Lazard when needed. Braylon Allen got a couple, touchdowns. And then, we want that Garrett Wilson action because of where we drafted him at. When we see Tyler Conklin on the waiver wire, is it something that you're going to pay, I'd say a couple percent, nothing crazy. I think I paid $3 for him yesterday, but I didn't want to go any higher than that. Is there opportunities for him this week, Nicolette, for Tyler Conklin to see last week was 5 for 6, 93 yards. He's an every snap tight end. Now this matchup might be a little tough, but what are your thoughts on Tyler Conklin this week?
Tyler Conklin's always been an interesting fellow to me when playing him, especially when you're going up against a Broncos defense. Now, they did lose their star captain to an ACL injury, who was really good with defending those tight end positions. Aaron Rodgers historically at the same time always loves his tight ends, so he's something, especially as you mentioned, with the wires with so many tight ends already banged up with the Porter's uncertainty, Kittle, and McBride. He's on the safer one. He's not my ideal pick, but I would say he's still someone to have if you don't literally have anyone else, just because I like that matchup again at home. And yes, he has a lot of other weapons. You do have Allen, you do have Wilson, you have Lazard, but I would expect them to go a little bit more to the tight end / maybe even run game in this matchup, just because of how Sean Sean Payton's defense lines up, and with the key injuries, not too many of them, but key injuries for Denver. But I would just
For sure.
put honestly, like what you said.
For sure. Do you want to expand on that, Biggs, at all? On Conklin? I mean, or maybe Ertz?
I think everybody who went into the season with an elite tight end should be streaming at this point, but I don't think that this is the week to stream Tyler Conklin. The Denver Broncos give up the least amount of opponents' passing yards per game compared to average, and they allow the second fewest wide receiver points. I know Tyler Conklin's not a wide receiver, you guys. The thing is that they can be run on, and you got Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, and I don't think they're going to need to throw the ball very much. Las Vegas has the Jets' total of points scored at 23, which is pretty huge, especially given that they're going against the number one passing yards defense. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty run heavy game for the Jets. They're just not going to need to throw the ball very much. So if we're trying to figure out what's going to happen, it's not likely that Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a lot of touchdowns this week. But Braylon Allen and Breece Hall should be in position to at least score a couple.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And just real quick, just to move on to Zach Ertz real fast, we've got on the year, we've got 12 out of 13, 12 for 13, 128 yards, almost 11 yards per carry. I think that his targets are ramping up a bit when it comes to Arizona. Obviously, we have some other weapons there. Zach Ertz, is he a streaming option this week at home against Washington? Washington looked pretty great on Monday.
Opposite against the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yes, and he is definitely a streaming option this
I was stuck
week.
in last year. Sorry.
He's becoming very reliable for Jaden Daniels, and I would also be stashing Ben Sinnott in other leagues as well. But yeah, I would start Zach Ertz this week.
Okay, the Senator. Yes, Ben Sinnott is somebody I drafted in a lot of leagues that I was like, this is going to take up a spot for a while. But
Sinnott to win it.
Yeah, Sinnott to win it. I heard that. Okay, are there any other post-paper hypes that you guys want to bring up, talk about real quick, or how are we feeling? Pretty good about?
Let's follow Dalton Schultz's injury this week. If he plays, he's probably a pretty good option against Houston. And that's I'm trying to see.
I wonder what I don't know what his availability is.
He came up on questionable today on the sleeper notifications, but
okay.
Look for Dalton Schultz if somebody's dropped him.
Yeah, I mean, I know people are freaking out. So many injuries have happened that I think people are losing it. I kind of did that in one of my co-managed leagues. I'm helping somebody out, and I dropped Goddard early. That was a bad idea. Yeah,
I would have too. I don't.
Right. All things considered. All right,
Yeah.
real quick. So, hey, Biggs, there's an app that we have, right? Do we like?
I believe I heard something about it at the expo.
Oh yeah, the expo where we were all everywhere. So there's this app that we have, you guys, that you guys can go and talk all fantasy football and all fantasy basketball or baseball all the time. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys. I lied. That wasn't it.
Like Dan's voice. I want Dan's voice.
Yeah. I was like, where is Dan's voice? It's interesting because I really just don't see it. That's okay. We'll hit.
Hey everybody, go to the Fantasy Sports Advice Network app and download it. Get signed up and everything. You can interact with your favorite content creators. You can immediately download all of the content that they're putting out there. You don't have to jump over to YouTube to do it. It's kind of like a DM situation with Twitter and Discord. It's basically everything that you have jumping from app to app and website to website, but it's all in one place. And you need to have it in your life. It's the FSAN app, Fantasy Sports Advice Network. You'll thank me later.
Yes. Yeah. No, thank you very much. It's technical difficulties from the noob over here. It's no big deal. All right, guys. So we are going to jump into our Thursday night matchup. So we have the Cowboys versus the Giants. Giants at home. The Vegas line is -5.5 for the Cowboys in favor of the Cowboys. We got Giants at home versus a division rival where they had an actual decent week last week. Malik Neighbors might be him. I mean, he just might. He showed out. He showed up and showed out. And bad defensive play from Dallas. And I'm just wondering what they might look like. Nicolette, do you have any thoughts on this matchup? And we'll go into starts and sits right after this.
Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting NFC East battle, Thursday Night Football. Now, something I did want to point out as I'm kind of looking here is the weather forecast. Weather forecast is projected for rain showers. Now, someone correct me if that's over there in New Jersey. Of course, that's going to change. That could change within 24 hours. But if there is going to be some rain, that usually calls for running the ball more, and that's something that America's team has been struggling. And Dak Prescott's going to be again, it all just depends on the weather, but I do expect this, as much as ironically I shouldn't believe in the Cowboys. I'm just as much. I'm a little only slightly bullish on it because this is, I know week 4 must wins kind of used around a lot, but this is essentially a must win. Can't lose to the Giants. And like what you said, Malik Neighbors is also him. So I don't have, and with this Mike Zimmer defense, I haven't found too much reason other than, of course, you have your classic Dak and CD, which even then, CD going viral for his understandable frustrations in the sidelines. I don't expect this to be a super high scoring game, especially if the weather is pretty not so fun. But 5.5 spread is a little high in my opinion, but I do think Giants cover here in terms of winning. I would not be surprised if I'm gonna push for an upset, although I do know Dallas has dominated at MetLife last couple of seasons. I'm not giving up hope on them yet, but I just haven't seen much of them, especially on the defensive side. Their corners are at their best. The secondary is banged up. They can't run the ball. They can't really seem to do much given how the hype going into this America's team, this Dallas Cowboys squad.
It's always the Cowboys year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Biggs, I feel like Dallas can't really stop the run right now, it seems like, but we know that Dallas's issues with the run, so I feel like Singletary's a must start. That's the direction I was heading. I feel like Singletary's a must start. My question for you would be Singletary over Dingletary. Hello.
That's good. It's a good one.
So Singletary over Dobbins. Is that something you would do this week?
Over Dobbins. It is a better matchup. It is the second best matchup for running back yards for the week, and the Chargers don't have a great one. So I don't know if I would go over Dobbins, but I would absolutely be starting him in the flex spot.
Okay. And then can we do what do you think about, Nicolette, would you start Singletary over Tony Pollard this week with Tennessee against Miami?
I would still probably Pollard against Miami. Pollard's been picking it up a little bit more, so I'm more bullish on that, but that's a tough one. I probably wouldn't start him over Pollard, but again, I really like Dingleberry / Singletary.
Speaking of, Corey says Dingleberry ? Twice.
Yes.
I would start Dingletary over Pollard.
We're doing Dingletary.
This is his name for life now, guys. Like this
Dingletary,
is literally his name for life.
Oh, yeah.
I would start Dingletary over Pollard.
So I brought this situation up on Sunday. Not that we saw much action in the Rico Zeke room. We have Zeke. Zeke is definitely being phased out. It's ramping up for Rico. Rico's got 8 for 32, 5 targets, but he's got the 5 targets, right? So he's in the passing game. Mm-hmm. And, he might only get 60% of the snaps as they ramp him up, but I think that he might prove to be, valuable down the road. If he can really get himself into the game, get himself into the game script. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I mean, we've been hammering for Rico Dowdle for about a season and a half now, and the New York Giants rush defense is a little bit, they're around average, a little bit below. I think he's gonna have a better game than he typically does. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good one, but he's certainly where I have him. He's playing.
Okay. Do you have any? Yeah, you starting Singletary if you have him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
All
definitely.
right. Corey did say that he is crappy though. Nice insight, sir. Thank you. And Sean,
Compared to
Phil,
other
the bad
options.
cousin, the bad cousin. You guys are my entertainment on my 11th hour on the road.
Keep driving, Sean. You're going to get there.
Dingletary for life.
Dingleberry.
All right. So I feel like start sits for tomorrow's game, right? We've got CD, of course, and Dak. I feel like those are must starts. Obviously depending on what your quarterback situation looks like, but I think no matter what, it's a go. Singletary, Neighbors. Are there any other players that I'm missing? I'm not starting Daniel Jones against Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you want to anyway, but
yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones is one of the only quarterbacks in the NFL this year that has more like top 5 rushing upside each week. So if you're in a two quarterback or super flex league and Daniel Jones is there, I wouldn't be ashamed to start him. I mean, this is a Dallas Cowboys defense that gave up 47 points to Derek Carr. So Daniel Jones is a little bit more mobile than Derek Carr. I wouldn't have a problem starting him at all.
Okay, I like that take. All right, we've got shot callers talking about start DJ and SF. Am I reading that wrong?
Daniel Jones
in Superflex.
Oh, Superflex. Yeah. Okay.
Superflex, yeah.
Daniel Jones in Superflex. I had a brain fart because I was like San Francisco. I'm doing great, guys. It's fine. Dingleberry. Don't know what anything means. It's fine. This is why I have a co-host and a guest. Thanks.
We'll pick you up.
All right, we got another comment from Kevin Tompkins. Wandale, the preeminent PPR scam flex. Honestly, I don't think that's terrible either. I'm just a little too nerve-wracked. It's a little too risky for me.
Dallas is one of the best defenses against slot, and so I would not be starting Wandale this week.
Yeah, I think it's a little too risky for me. All right, and the moment you guys have been waiting for. So we're going into our special segment of the week. Today is National One Hit Wonder Day, and there's so many out there. It was started in 1990 by an actual music journalist who was like, we need to make sure we feature these guys every year. So the one hit wonders of the NFL of Week 4. Can they do it again? Are there any others that we need to add? I'm gonna lead you into this segment with a wonderful. I actually have this video, guys. Ready?
I always feel like I'm in the twilight zone, and I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Yay,
Wow.
I did it.
I feel like I'm 9 again.
A little Rockwell for you guys. It was definitely karaoke version. No copyrighted issues there.
Son of Barry Gordy, in case you needed to know that.
All right, real quick. We're going to throw in Sean's comment real quick. Dallas has a tendency to give up rushing touchdown service. Quarterback, good matchup for Danny Dimes. So
we already had you, Sean. You didn't need to justify it. We were starting Daniel Jones in Superflex.
All right, guys. So I featured a couple guys. I mean, if you have anybody else we want to add, we're going to bring them in as well. We've got Trey Tucker. So my 2 Raiders fans that are sitting here next to me and below me, why don't we talk about Trey Tucker? Because I feel like DA pissed off AP, and we might have a problem this week. So is Trey Tucker a viable option, or was that just a one-hit wonder?
He's not a one-hit wonder. He may not have a great matchup this week, but he does tend to line up on the outside with Jacoby Myers in the middle. They're going up against the Cleveland defense. Cleveland defense allows 20 points per game to the wideouts. That includes Devontae Adams, so he's going to get his. I don't think there's going to be any breakdown, but with the relationship between Devontae Adams and Antonio Pierce. And Trey Tucker he's the Raiders' Gabe Davis. He's awesome in best ball. He's going to spike. Once Aiden O'Connell takes that job back, he's going to be able to find Tucker down the field. What's funny is that Minshew to Tucker is something like Tucker taking the top off the defense is something that we waited 2 weeks for. They finally did it, and in a game that they absolutely got dog walked. So the pieces are there. I don't see it necessarily happening this week, but he's definitely somebody that you're going to want to beat the waiver rush with Trey Tucker, because you're going to need those spikes every once in a while.
Okay, so Nicolette, do you think that AP's comments towards his, what did he say, business? He's like, it looks like they were doing business, huh?
Business decisions.
Business decisions. Was that geared towards Devontae Adams? And is there opportunities for other people to come through? And then if Aiden O'Connell comes in later, is that something that you agree with? Actually, let's go there first. Is that, oh, you're over here. Is that something that you agree?
Yeah, let's debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Aiden O'Connell should come in over Minshew?
Honestly, at this point, I just hope going next year, get a damn quarterback, somebody. but if we're talking, but we got a year not for that. But I would say can't do worse, to be honest. I mean, because yes, there's an argument I see, especially on Raiders Twitter, of yeah, but Minshew can scramble, sure, but hasn't really been advantages. At least with O'Connell, yes, you have the concern with the line, but the line's getting better. And for fantasy purposes, I'm not saying, oh, go all in on AOC, but as Biggs talked about, O'Connell has the arm, Tucker has the speed. It'll be easier to connect compared to someone that Minshew doesn't necessarily have that strength. At this point, if it ain't working, you're going to have to do something. And then and as far as the business decisions comment, I'm all for Antonio Pierce doing it. I wish he took a little more accountability. He kind of did, but at some point you have to do it. He's always been like that, no nonsense. He was like that as a captain leader with the Giants back in his playing days. You need someone like that to light up someone up your you-know-what. So, yeah.
That comment seemed to be more directed at some of the defensive backfield.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There was video of Trayvon Merrick and Jack Jones kind of half-assing it on some plays. Those were definitely pointed out on Twitter. Jack Jones allowing a Chuba Hubbard rush to go past him before he kind of like fell onto the ground to make it look like he was tackling. And then Trayvon Merrick just like there was a pass down the field and he kind of like jogged towards it. I think that's more what it was. Devontae Adams is never one, like his business decisions. Everybody knows about. He catches the ball, he looks for contact, and then he ducks down to avoid it. Like he's not out there trying to get himself hurt. As long as you're not throwing him hospital balls, he's going to make business decisions when he has the ball in his hands, and it's never to sacrifice what could be positive for the team. The Raiders' offensive line, though, there's somehow, if you recall, way back when I was talking about the Carolina Panthers offensive line. That same chart, it shows that the Raiders are 11th in protection and in pocket creation, and then somehow they're 21st in sacks per dropback, which means that Gardner Minshew is actually creating sacks. Yeah. That the offensive line is creating a pocket for him, and then he's just finding himself being sacked. That's not a good
sign. Yeah, you have to be able to navigate that, and that's what we can call him whatever, we can call him a game manager, but I don't even think we can call him that at this point because you're not managing accordingly.
Or he has escapability, he can throw off schedule or whatever. Right? He can't throw on schedule, and then he's making sacks for himself. So like that's
and that goes back to the quote you had earlier as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had a fun 2 weeks in the top 10 as a quarterback, but I think those days are over.
Yeah. All right. So what our consensus on Trey Tucker is that this isn't a good matchup, but he is not a one-hit wonder, that we will see more of him the rest of the season. He may not be a league winner, but he's definitely capable if he has the right quarterback.
Right. think of him as like Def Leppard. Like he's gonna have every season as a Def Leppard album, he's gonna have like a song that everybody knows, but the whole rest of the album is gonna be crap. So
Okay.
yeah,
kind of like Rockwell. I feel like.
I mean, what else did Rockwell do? His
Nothing,
dad
literally.
literally founded Motown, and that's the only thing he could ever come up with. So
Yep, 150%. That's why I chose that song, because there's one hit wonders where they're like, oh, there's several of them, and I'm like, they have several songs that are one hit wonders. I'm like, I feel like doesn't count. Like if you have
Yeah.
several one hit wonders, you had multiple hits anyway.
then it's not a one-hit wonder.
That's not a one hit wonder. Okay, so moving on to Calvin Austin. Interestingly enough, I've had him for quite a while on a dynasty bench, and in waivers last week I dropped him, and of course he showed out. Not that I was going to play him. So sorry, fantasy shot callers. They said so a yearly one hit wonder. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Kind of like some of our fantasy players. Wonderful. Calvin Austin he was 4 for 5 for 95 yards. It was one touchdown off of 55-yard run, right? Reception, running it in for a touchdown. I've seen the reason I held on to Calvin Austin for so long is I saw potential in him, but we've had bad quarterback play. We've had some issues with offensive line with Pittsburgh. Is there potential for him here? And obviously we still have quarterback questions in the Pittsburgh room, right? So we don't have a guarantee Justin Fields is the starter. You know, Russell Wilson might come in and just mess everything up. And we know new quarterbacks definitely tend to mess with how each player how each player's stats look. Is Calvin Austin somebody that we could potentially see down the road being flex play for us and continuously not necessarily week in, week out, but maybe in necessary bye weeks like bye Mageddon's? Nicolette, what do you think about Calvin Austin? Any thoughts?
Honestly, it's just hard to say with Steelers. This week, I'm not sure if I would play him this week, but especially with him, notice him with Justin Fields is kind of picking up, and we're starting to see, okay, maybe the issues in Chicago was more on the Chicago side at the time than himself. Obviously, but that's still determined. I would probably hold. I'm not against it, to be fair. I don't think he will. I wouldn't say it's a one-hit wonder. I don't know what's the term called where they have, it's not 2 or 3 hit wonders, but where they have a couple of hits. Also, not the Def Leppard slander, but I would not stand this Def Leppard slander. But I would say I can't even do a similar music one. But I'm not going to say he's a one-hit wonder, but I would be a little more cautious. Obviously, you have Pickens, who's going to be a player regardless, but he would be an interesting one depending on who plays. I will say I firmly believe that if Justin Fields gets another win, regardless of his stats, I do think he will keep the job. And if that's the case, then I would definitely have Austin on the radar. I don't see him winning leagues per se, but he could be, especially with how scripted this season has been, he could be something to keep an eye on more longer term, but maybe not in the impact of like a Tucker.
Yeah, I hear that. Go ahead, Biggs.
The thing that Calvin Austin has going against him, well, he's got 2 things going against him. The first one is Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is not going to be able to support a wide receiver. I mean, you could even bump up. Calvin Austin is a wide receiver 3. For some reason, Van Jefferson is a wide receiver 2 in that offense. George Pickens is the guy. Pat Freiermuth is there. They want to run the ball. They've got Najee and Jalen Warren. This week, they have the best running back matchup against Indianapolis. They're going to be able to just like hold on to the ball and run it down the Colts' throats. The Colts don't have a great passing defense either, but the Steelers aren't really going to need it. So this week, it's a no. He's not going to repeat anything from this week. But the thing that when I look at Justin Fields, the analogy that I have for Calvin Austin is Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney in Chicago Justin Fields could not support another wide receiver beyond DJ Moore. Right. Darnell Mooney is starting to get some shine now because Kirk Cousins has shown he can support multiple wide receivers. I don't think Justin Fields can. I don't think that's his game. Calvin Austin he was only targeted 5 times, and one of those catches he broke out for 55 yards. That means that he was averaging about 10 yards per target. if he's only getting 5 catches and 50 yards and he's not turning them into touchdowns, I don't think he's even rosterable. So
Yeah,
it was a fluke. It was a fluke.
Right. And that's what brings us into our next candidate. Now, granted, so Emmanuel Wilson, so he is technically right now RB2 on the Green Bay Packers. I mean, considering last week he had 50 rushing yards, 2 for 2 receiving, and then a touchdown. And how many points did he have? Sorry, I don't think I have my stats up correctly. But I mean, he looks great on a per touch basis, right? There's a tough matchup this week as well, but I do think that he should be rostered. But here's the problem: when you're rostering him and you paid for him in Marshawn Lynch. Oh my God, I'm doing great.
What up, beast mode?
Yeah, right. I know. I was like, I wish Beast Mode was back in the league. This would be a much better year. So with Marshawn Lloyd on IR and coming back, I don't think Emmanuel Wilson can sustain that much longer. I mean, we don't know how many weeks Marshawn Lloyd will actually be out, but is this a one-hit wonder, or is he streamable this week? Again, tough matchup, maybe this week or next week as we go into the Packers are not on a bye in week 5, are they?
He's startable as long as they're not playing the Vikings. Oh,
right.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
No, I have a ton of Emmanuel Wilson just because he showed some flashes last season. And as soon as Marshawn Lloyd went on the IR, I was like, scoop, 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 scoop. Mm-hmm. And then Josh Jacobs got hurt and he was questionable, but he's doing Josh Jacobs things. Green Bay can't really run the ball very well. Minnesota is going to shut down anything that they try and do. It's the second worst matchup for running backs in fantasy this week.
So bad.
It's not going to be repeatable this week. And if you have shares of Emmanuel Wilson, hang on to him just to see what Matt LaFleur says upon Marshawn Lloyd coming.
I started it.
Yep.
Singletary and Marshawn Lynch are all here. It's fine.
Yeah, just to see if Marshawn Lloyd is going to be the second option behind Josh Jacobs. If Matt LaFleur says no, it's Emmanuel Wilson's job, and we're going to keep Marshawn Lloyd safe, then you're going to be okay. But he's easily droppable if that's not the case.
Yeah, we'd have to keep an eye out. Okay, so Nicolette, I have one last question for you. So when it comes to this, I mean, a lot of us have drafted Green Bay players, right? We all the wide receiver room is crowded. I think Dobbs is a decent play this week. Dontavian Wicks is working his way up. Obviously, Jaden Reed is a must start. Love might be coming back, so it's going to be difficult on the run game, and I think that it's going to be a passing game for sure. Which of the wide receivers do you feel confident starting on the Packers this week?
I would probably. Why am I blanking it out? Oh,
you got Dontavian Wicks. You're good. Romeo Dobbs.
We got Dobbs.
Christian Watson, which I'm not touchdown dependent, but still not doing great in the end zone or in the red zone.
I would fade Watson personally, but
yeah,
given the matchup, it's a tough one. I would probably lean towards Reed's been doing great. Obviously, he's definitely a clear one, but because obviously, given Minnesota's defense,
it's a tough one because I mean, maybe Biggs, you can help us dig into this a little bit.
I could see. Oh my god, this is a tough one. I could probably see Dobbs getting a little bit, but yeah, I would be a little cautious on this one for Packers receivers, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just enjoying watching you guys flail a little bit.
It is flailing.
Jaden Reed is must start. I've been calling for Jordan. I thought for sure Jordan Love was going to start last week. He's got to start this week.
I knew better. I'm like, it's an ACL sprain. No way.
Yeah, it's competitive sports. You put a brace on it, you get out there. I think he could have. They were overly cautious. I think he definitely could have. Now, Christian Watson, I think this is the week. This is a Minnesota team that is really, really good, except against wideouts. So if you've got Christian Watson lining up as the Y on the right-hand side and doing his wind sprint thing, I think Jordan Love is going to be able to find him downfield a couple times, and he should have a bounce back game, the one that we've been waiting for that didn't materialize because of Jordan Love's unfortunate injury.
So did you guys ever have those seasons where you I think I have too many leagues where you jump the gun a little too early, either dropping or not even dropping, just like really just moving on, fading players. I normally don't do it, and this year I am excessively early. And I hear what you're saying about Christian Watson. My concern is his ability to be able to catch the ball. Like I haven't seen him be as consistent as he was in the past. But I mean, again, I'm not seeing the issues that I am from his hammy either. So from his hamstring. So
symmetry.
Yeah, right. That was like my favorite topic in the offseason was his symmetrical hamstrings. I was like, He went to the University of Wisconsin or Madison. Either way, he went to the university, one of the universities in Wisconsin, and he had that checked out, tested, and taken care of. So it's going to be an interesting game. I am glad to see my division rivals go head to head and go at it because it's always a fun battle.
Isn't it great? One of them gets to lose.
I know. It's fantastic. And it's wild to see the Vikings. I mean, we all underestimated Sam Darnold, and
Not all of us, Amber.
Not all of us. I think you're right. I'm gonna shut up. So I want to thank my wonderful guests, you guys. We are done here. I appreciate you guys working. This year I'm working it out. I'm trying new stuff on lives where, I don't know how to speak. It's fine, but I appreciate them being here to laugh at me and also pick up the slack for me. So, Biggs, we know we can find you. We have Sunday morning with Biggs, right?
Breakfast with Biggs on Sunday mornings on FFAN. The fantasy forecast, we do the points after Thursday. Every Thursday night after the game is over, Greinberg and Schultze and I pop on. We do a live stream. We answer start and sit questions, and we'd love to have everybody there hanging out. And then our fantasy forecast gets dropped throughout the week. We've got Marcus Gailey from our Undroppables crew who does an injury show with us that drops every Friday. We do a waiver wire pickup show that drops on Tuesdays. So make sure that you're locked into the FFAN network and get all of the content.
Absolutely. And then that leads me to our special guest, Nicolette. Again, we found you said IBT Media, which we love. We're, big friends with them. And you said Fox Sports as well?
Yes.
Along with Fox Sports?
Yep. So every Wednesday. Now I don't know my days, but every Wednesday, shout out to FFAN. I ask any questions there, and we dig our little fantasy mailbag and answer whatever questions, the hottest questions in that. So tune in. So hop on FFAN. We'll go through it and we'll pick out your questions, and we release those every Wednesday morning, afternoon. I write. You can grow my opinions or whatever. And Blitz Sports Media, getting things racked up. A lot of generic, especially Raider Nation talk and my rants. Find me there. And for upcoming college football stuff happening in a couple weekends. So, and in Fox Sports, anything, tune in at First Things First. No, I don't speak there, but get us to 1 million YouTube subscribers. Make my bosses happy.
Nicolette, I do want to invite you onto my Raiders Uncovered show. I live stream Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific. So if you are up for that, come on, guest, talk about Raiders stuff with me and Raider Damas, and I can send you a DM and we'll get that squared away. Also, if you know El Capitan Rafucho, he comes on the show all the time too. So you're more than invited to come on.
Say less. I am open to that.
Man, I lived in LA for so long. Raider Nation is real, y'all. Okay, we know we see it all over the internet, but in person, it's different. It's just different. So, and you know what's funny? I prefer Raider Nation over Bang Bang Niner Gang. So with that, we are done.
Of course, Bang Bang Niner Gang. No.
All right, catch us on the app, guys. And then Sunday morning, we got Breakfast with Biggs. And right after that, you're going to catch me and Scotty Wishlist with a bunch of other people getting your start and sits questions right before Unspilled Coffee. So catch you later. Thank you.